Good day, everyone. You are welcome to this channel, and this is Grade Day Tutor. We are going to continue with what we talked of the last time, that is psychology. We weren't able to finish with the first part, so let us continue. So we reached a place where we are talking about the schedules for reinforcement. We have the continuous reinforcement, and then with the continuous reinforcement, it's reinforcing the desired response every time it occurs. So let's take what all these continuous reinforcement mean, that maybe you give a reward every time the behavior happens. So for example, in case you give your dog a treat every time it sits, when you say sits, the dog will learn and acquires that behavior very quickly. But the moment you start giving that treat, the behavior stops quickly too. Are we together? So this rapid behavior is called what? The extension. If the reinforcement what stops. Hope you are together. And then when we talk of the partial or intermittent reinforcement, is reinforcing a response only part of the time. So you give the reward only sometimes, not every time that the behavior happens. You get it? So in case you give your dog a treat only sometimes, like maybe when it sits, so the dog learns that behavior more slowly. You get it? But the behavior lasts longer and is very hard to forget with the partial reinforcement. You get together. So with the continuous reinforcement, there's a rapid extension, but with the partial one, it becomes very tough for that behavior to stop. You get it? And then we talk about the schedules or the types of partial schedules. So with the types, we have the fixed ratio schedule. And then with the fixed ratio schedule, it's like reinforcement occurs after a fixed number of responses. So for example, what it means that when you get a reward after doing a behavior, mm, within a set number of time or a set number of times, after repeating a number of times in a behavior, you get a particular reward. So let's say a rat gets food after pressing a lever 10 times. Are we together? So, or the worker gets paid after selling 5 items. So it's like it's fixed. So you are given a number that you have to what complete. So after completing them, then you are being given what you are supposed to be given. Are we together? And then we are having the variable ratio schedule. With the variable ratio schedule, the reinforcement occurs after an unpredictable number of responses. So let's say you get a reward after a random number of responses. It's like maybe you call something betting. You know the betting, and also we have something the gambling, how they used to gamble. So you can be trying some number of response, but there will be a time that you are going to get what you want. Are we together? So it's like the gambling. You see, with the gambling, you don't know how many tries until you win. You get it? So, or maybe with the fishing, you cast many times before you catch something. So that's the variable ratio. It varies. You don't know the number of times that through some number of responses you get what you want. Are we together? Good. And then we move on to the fixed interval schedule. The fixed interval schedule. So with the fixed interval schedule, we say reinforcement occurs for the first response after a fixed amount of time has passed. So what it means that you get a reward after a set amount of time, but only if you respond after the time passes. So for example, you get paid every week or check your mail every day at 4 p.m. With this, there's a slow response at first, then faster as the time gets closer. Are we together? So with the fixed interval schedule, it's like when you get a reward after a set amount of time, but only if you respond after the time passes. So you get paid every week. You respond afterwards the time what passes. So that's the fixed interval what schedule. You get it? And then we're having the variable interval schedule. So with the variable interval schedule, it's like is that reinforcement occurs for the first response after an unpredictable amount of time has passed. So for example, okay, so what this actually the variable interval schedule means that you get a reward after a random amount of time, but only if you respond after the time passed. You see, the first one, the fixed interval is a set amount of time, but with this, it's random amount of time. Are we together? So we have the pop quizzes, checking email, checking for a new email. You never know when it will come. Are we together? So with these four types of is it four? Yeah, with these four types of schedule, we can get to know that we have the we are having fixed ratio, that is a set number of actions. You get it? And then you're having the variable ratio after a random number of actions, and you're having the fixed interval after a set time first response, and then the variable interval after a random time first response. Are we together? Good. So with this, then we move on to discussing the key experiment in operant condition according to Thorndike's puzzle box. So with Thorndike's puzzle box, you see the purpose was to study try and error in learning animals. You get it? So in everything you have try and error. So with the procedure, Thorndike placed hungry cats inside a puzzle box. You get it? And then outside the box was food. So which the cat could see and smell. So with the procedure, he placed the cat inside the puzzle box, and then outside the box there was food of which the cat can see and smell the food. So to get out, the cat had to do something specific. Are we together? Like pulling a string or pressing a lever. That's the so with the results, at first the cat will act randomly, scratching, meowing, jumping in order to find out the way that it can go out and get what it wants. So eventually by accident, they did the correct action and escaped. You see, at times when you find yourself in a puzzle box, you are trying so many things, try and error, until one of the trials will work for you to get out. And the moment you get out and then you find yourself in that same puzzle box, you no longer do try and error, but rather you try to find out the way that you used to escape the first one. Are we together? That was Thorndike's puzzle box, the purpose to study trial and error in learning animal. So with the significance was the law of effect, whereby Thorndike came up with the law of effect, and then he was saying that with the law of effect, behaviors followed by satisfying outcomes are more likely to be repeated. So the idea came from the foundation of the operant condition. Are we together? Yes. So in simple terms, for me to classify everything in simple terms for you, in simple terms, the cat learned what worked by trying by trying different things. You get it? But when it got a reward, it remembered what action caused it and did that more often next time. You get it? So as I was saying, when you find yourself in a situation and then you are doing trying until you find the best way for you to go out or maybe to escape, you are more likely to repeat that same action that helped you to escape when you find yourself in that same position or similar one. Are we together? Good. And then we look on to the Skinner box. Yeah, the Skinner experiment with operant chambers. So the purpose was to study how consequences influence voluntary behavior. So it was to study how rewards or punishment influence voluntary behavior. That is action animals choose to do. You get it? So with the procedure, the Skinner box, the Skinner built a special box called the Skinner box. The Skinner box, and placed rats or pigeons inside. So let's take maybe rats. And then the animals could do simple actions like pressing a lever or maybe pick a key. You get it? And then Skinner controlled what happened after the action. Are we together? So it's like the reward, maybe the food pellets, if they press the lever, they are going to get a reward. But if there's an electric shock after pressing that, they have to stop. So he also tested different reinforcement schedules. So with the results, for me to bring everything down, the animals quickly learned to repeat actions that gave them rewards, but to also stop action that do not give them the so their behavior changed depending on the reward pattern. You get it? So example, um if food came every 5 presses, they press more steadily. You get it? So in case maybe the rat keeps on pressing for it to get food, it will keep on pressing. But the behavior could stop if he had pressed it 5 times and then there was an electric shock. You get it? So with Skinner, he used that to also expand on Thorndike's law of effect, whereby he introduced key terms such as positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. You get it? Yes. And then his work showed that the environment strongly shapes behavior through what? The reinforcement and punishment. So in simple terms, for us to get the understanding very well, Skinner provided that if an action is rewarded, it will be repeated or is more likely to be repeated. And if it's punished, it will likely stop. So he showed how we learn behaviors based on what happens after we do them. Are we together? Great. And then we move on to, okay, yeah, the first we are done with the first topic.